those fireworks on a massive day for the crypto markets. Bitcoin up roughly 30% on the day, climbing more than $2,500 in less than 24 hours. Haven't seen many bull runs like this. We're talking about one of the top 5 bull runs in the crypto market over all time. Special edition here. Asher Westrop Evans in the studio. We've got Joe Saz joining us remotely from Bali, Indonesia. Asher, let's start with you. Put this in some kind of perspective for us. What kind of a move are you seeing here?
Look, I mean, Ron, this was unprecedented, unbelievable. This skyrocketed. We saw it go as high as 10.5, around the middle 10 marks at some point, climbing, whopping percentages, over 40% at some point in the previous 24 hours. Now we've cooled heads, I suppose you could say, back around a humble 9.5 at the time of filming. Be interesting to see where it goes from here. But what precipitated this, what caused this, Ron? I mean, there were a few contenders out there. There's major speculation. Xi Jinping, the president of China, came out and made some pretty amazing statements commenting on the need to invest in blockchain technology.
Absolutely.
That being said, many have said be cautious. He said blockchain, not Bitcoin, but
we're
regardless,
familiar with that mantra.
Exactly.
Yes.
Regardless, there's still that positivity, that emphasis really clearly carried some weight in the sphere as well. Backed, one we always like to watch. They saw new all-time highs on their futures trading. We saw yesterday they broke at the end of the day 1,179 contracts executed. Still relatively small potatoes when you compare to, say, CME or whatnot, but almost doubling their previous all-time highs. So certainly it was a record day for the books, and it'll be fascinating to see where we go from here.
Well, we'll dig into some of those reasons a bit later, but let's turn to Joe. Joe, you're up there in Bali at a Bitcoin maximalist conference. Are people there going nuts?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people have actually left. So, I mean, I'm probably one of the last ones standing. The thing is, are people celebrating? Yeah. I mean, people like me? No. I was in a short position. I had to get the frick out, before I got completely annihilated. So, this is, like Asher said, this is like, basically unprecedented. Even though we've seen moves like this in Bitcoin, in April 2nd, that was from a very different price point. A 30% move from 75. And let's just quickly jump to the charts, because I want to see like a lot. It's if you look at the daily chart, you'll see it's kind of, in my opinion, a little deceiving. Let me get this logged up, and of course let's try to see if we can catch the low. Man, my scroll pad's a little slow. All right, so from a low of 74 to a high of 10.5. So we went up $3,000 between 6 p.m. yesterday, and I think this is in UTC time. I can't, my time scales are off right now because I'm on the opposite side of the planet. I don't know what's updated or not. But in a matter of hours, I mean, so from 6 to 21:30, 0600 to 21:30, less than a 24-hour period, we jumped like $3,000 from a price point of $7,000. I mean, what explains that? Even you guys know how skeptical I am and how disgusted I am by the garbage coin Tether. And like even the part of me that wants to say, hey, there's some blame here. The president of Crypto Capital, CEO of Crypto Capital arrested money. So it's like there even say there's like a Tether exodus situation going on right now. That just can't account for. I just don't see it. I did notice that there was a lot of once we broke past a certain point, there was just absolutely no liquidity. So the price did move very quickly, and I think if it was a Tether exodus situation, this could be a good front run for it. But and it could encompass some of the price action. But I think we had a lot more money pour into the overall market space. So I think that's part of it, but I can't really say what else it is. We don't freaking move $3,000 anymore when there's no one but traders trading.
Right. Sorry, Joe, I wanted to ask something as well. If we pull up that chart you had just up there, I wanted to know, because do you give any weight to the fact that there seem to be two distinct sort of elevator moves, I guess we'll call them, and price pumps there? It wasn't just the one, in past times we've seen, a one big jump, but this seemed to be two distinct jump up, a flattening for a time, and then kicking back up again. I mean, did you put any weight on that, or is it all just noise at this point?
Well, if you look at it like this, I mean, and again, of course, I think all the humidity has affected my machinery here. Let's go to auto. Now, this was one. So like what I wanted to point out to you, Asher, is this actually was more than one. This is like, this was a mini pump number one. We move along and then bam, we get slammed from the 7,000s. So we had like a little mini pump, and this was like, pretty okay, right? Like this was normal kind of Bitcoin stuff relative to what we've had going on for the past number of weeks, okay? And then we go vertical, continue, and then you see how the scale affects the image of these moves. I mean, we've just gone, like, it's just gone crazy. Do I see this? I do believe that, and from time to time, you'll see something like this, and then you'll see it go up. It depends on how we visit the wick space of this, something like this, and we might pump it like here, okay? This is like where we finish up our move to the upside and cap out, maybe a little higher if it's like a super nasty pump. But, this was just, dude, Asher, this is different. This is, I just like how, you can't explain this, I think it's going to take some time to really know what's happening, but the scale of these candles, this is a 5% candle here. We got a 5% candle here plus wick space, of course. We're ignoring that for a second. 10% candle on the 15-minute chart. Like you got a double-digit candle on a 15-minute chart. How, like, people pray for that on a day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, it's been crazy. And you turn your head for 1 second, 15 minutes, you go change, you walk away, you go hit something, brush your teeth, and you come back and prices move 10%, it's starting to feel like 2018 early.
No question. I mean, this is a dramatic day. I mean, maybe if not in percentage points, this might not be the highest climb of all time. But I think when it comes to actual dollar value, it very, very well might be. And people are already calling it, one of the 5 biggest days for Bitcoin ever. But Joe, it's not just Bitcoin. It's across the board. We're seeing, I'm looking at CoinMarketCap right now. We're seeing Bitcoin up 30%, like I said. But everyone, Ethereum up 15%, XRP up 9%, Bitcoin Cash up 24%. And you go down the list, everybody's up, practically everyone's up double digits. We know that Bitcoin traditionally moves the whole market up. Is that what we're seeing here?
Definitely. I'm going to try an experiment here. All right. Let's try something where I'm going to try a screen share here, and let's try it. Since this happened so late in the evening, it broke it into 2 days. So what I'm going to quickly do over here is switch this to see if I can make like a custom man, where is this? Let's see. Let's make this a 2-day chart so that we can see the total activity. All right, where are we here? So we can see the total activity across the board, and we'll run it. But this is actually something also that's very important. Why is this doing this? All right. Well, it's not working right now.
Right, it's not updating.
So this is pretty much counting the previous day, and this is a new cycle. So in here we had a 14% move. I mean, plus probably around 5. So yeah, we're talking probably good 20% moves. But real quick, back to Bitcoin. We were talking. Here's the weekly chart. This did happen on a weekly 9 buy, indicated by this green arrow, which has turned this candle into a green 1. So sequential did play out. I mean, in the final hours of the game. I just wanted to bring something up real quick.
Yep.
I mean, we were talking about a death cross yesterday, and here it is. And now we've just, like, this is again in the late hours of the day. This is like the last bit of activity in the day, and we jumped through. So this to me is 1 day. Both of these candles combined are 1 day. And we see this moving average, that a bearish crossover, and we get something like this. I mean, completely unprecedented, especially after finding a new low, a new local low. I mean, this was definitely getting bearish and more bearish. This is just like the most utterly disgusting thing that I could possibly imagine can hit a trader, especially, being a trader. I got slapped in the face. Looks like I might need to sell this laptop. I'm sorry, guys.
No, Joe, we can't do that without you. But tell me, we were talking less than 24 hours ago. You were, as you're wont to be, pretty bearish, and the fundamentals seem to back it up. again, like what could cause this? Is this new money coming in? Is this moving from other assets? Is this Asher? Is this correlating with anything going on in the stock market?
Yeah, I mean, not that I can see. There doesn't seem to be any reasonable correlation. I mean, I wonder, Joe, and I'd put this to you as well. I mean, do you think that the death cross had any impact on this? Obviously, you can't be saying that drives the whole market, but there were some reports saying that that could lead to a potential run-up in the wake of that. Do you have any thoughts?
It's not uncommon for something like that to be a little like pump fake, such a very bearish indicator, especially when you have like a short-term moving average crossing over a long-term moving average. That's definitely a little more bearish, and it's like, it's kind of like when whales like to splash, it's like, splash around a little bit and mess with traders. But this doesn't really have the look and feel of just simply messing with traders. I think, like, I have to say, one of the things that I really think might have to do with is like, a tethered exodus. And I think that's probably one of the strongest beliefs that I would say I have right now. I don't think this is Bitcoin by the effing dippers. We've had tons and tons of time to do that. And they've given it their all for the past number of weeks, and they've pretty much failed. So this has a very different feel to me. I can't put a finger on it just yet, and it's going to take time. And unfortunately, I'm hopping on a plane for 26 hours, or maybe even fortunately, who knows? I might need this, after all that action. Asher, it's like this has got to be one of the hardest questions. I can't, even in my wildest dreams, 4 billion. Let's say there was a tether exodus, and every single Tether FUD, 4 billion worth of Tether entered Bitcoin, and Tether went to zero. And, that's only $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's not enough to move the price $3,000 in less than a 24-hour period of time. And especially considering one of those was a 15-minute candle. So I think there's got to be more moving parts here. And I don't have them all.
All right, we're talking about altogether roughly $50 billion entering the market. Again, if anybody, even you at home, if you have any ideas where this money is coming from, we'd love to know about it. Joe, and do you dare a prediction where this might go from here? Let's see, like the market, it looks like things have been calming down over the last hour or so. We're kind of trading sideways, but is this, can this last?
Yeah, if I was like, I have two thoughts running through my head right now. So I'm pretty much going to give two predictions, and they're both going to hate each other. Okay. One is, what happened last time we did this? We broke, we went, up 20% or so April 2nd. We cooled off for a second. We had a little run up, back to, some 5,000 range highs. And then we went parabolic to, 14,000 from 3. So, it was, one side of my head is saying, there's no way this can happen twice, where we go pull a nasty move to the upside and then go parabolic again. So there's this one part of me that's saying this can't happen again. There's something going on. We need to figure it out, whether it's, state or whatever, this is real big money. Like you said, 50 billion entering the market. That's not small potatoes, and that's definitely not one moving part. The second thing is, so the first thing is, is this going to set us up for, a parabolic uptrend, and that's like one thing that I'm really getting ready to consider. Am I going to have to become a bull now as a result of a 24-hour period of time? I can't ignore what happened April 2nd. Now, on the other hand, I could say, yeah, maybe this was a little bit of a pump fake that got out of hand. And maybe this is a great opportunity to short the market back to reasonable prices. And yeah, there might be some pullbacks and there might be a little range of time, but I mean, right now, I dare to make a call? Absolutely not. I mean, I'm not going to trade this. To me, this is a no trade zone, specifically because liquidity has been wiped out of the books on the sell side. So sellers have to be ready to put their foot down somewhere. And after looking at a 30% move to the upside, who in their right mind would want to sell Bitcoin if last time this happened months ago, we went all the way up, So let's say a 300%, let's say we go up 300 to 400% from here. I mean, we're talking 6 digits, and I can't take that off the table anymore. This is now a reality. We're coming into the halvening. Things were looking terrible, and it took less than a 24-hour period of time to flip the market from a completely bearish stance into a full-blown, disgusting, just the utmost bullish position that we could possibly imagine. So I mean, we have to put both of those options on the table. Potential for a collapse back to reasonable prices, 7,000 or potentially lower, or 6 digits. I mean, really, the only two options that we have, Ron, are extremes, and that's the space we're in. So for now, until a few days, until things calm down, I have to, we just have to assume that we just have no bearing on the market.
All right, Joe, we're gonna go to Asher for a second. Asher, we were talking just again 24 hours ago. Sentiment was completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were talking with our friend Joe Frank from the Thai. They track social media interactions, and he was all doom and gloom. Fear and greed. Would you dare predict what's going to take over here?
No, that's not my game. I'll leave that to men like Joe. But I will say that certainly it is a complete turnaround in the market. Some external factor has driven the market here because the internal elements just don't add up in terms of what has happened and what is going to happen from here. Whether it is China, whether it is backed, whether it is the death cross, whether it is a combination of all three. Maybe it was the perfect combining of a number of different things exactly into a perfect storm. But whatever it might be, this certainly broke a massive trend that was heading in the market. As we said, speaking with the Thai the other day here on BLOCKTV, just what was that, 24 hours ago or so, and we're speaking to them, and they were saying that this was simply the market was headed in a very dark place. Sentiment was down all across the board by staggering numbers. There was a squeeze coming, and this was also Josh Frank also told us specifically that that there in New York the business sentiment was bad. Speaking with people there, people were concerned about the future. People were concerned about what's going on, and all this tells me, Ron, is that Bitcoin is a wild ride. You can never quite lay your books down it. Risk on, risk off, hedging or not hedging. It's certainly not correlated to anything that I can see, and it's a wild place out there.
All right, Asher Westrop Evans, Joe Saz, thank you for joining us. Special edition BLOCKTV on this glorious day for Bitcoin. We'll see where this goes. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more analysis on this day. BLOCKTV, stay tuned. Thanks, Joe.
For more news and updates,
my
follow
pleasure,
us
man.
on Twitter